We're here today. We are talking about the stand down, the homeless veteran stand down. So, Heather, why don't you go ahead and tell us about that?
I would be happy to. So, the 2018 Homeless Veteran Stand Down is coming up the last weekend of September. It happens every other year in Monterey County. It is a 2.5-day event with welcoming veterans in need from anywhere as far as wide as they can go to come here. This year it's going to be at the Monterey County Fairgrounds, and it's access to services such as legal services, veterinary care for support animals, family services, counseling, clothing, food and entertainment over 2.5 days. And it's a really amazing event here that reaches out into the veterans in need community and says, we're here to support you. We're here to, with no judgment, give you what you need to succeed when you leave this event at the end of those 2.5 days. So as far and wide as we can transport anyone who's in need. So on our flyers, there were some of the registration locations are the Santa Cruz Veterans Center, Seaside and Monterey's and Salinas, obviously, King City, San Benito, South County. We have working with MST and other transportation services to be able to have pickup locations far and wide to transport the veterans here. We have lots of outside organizations like VFWs and Legions and auxiliaries who are helping us get the word out through their communities for veterans to be able to find out where they can go to get transportation, or if they have vehicles of their own, to come out here. And we'll have parking services at the fairgrounds for anyone who drives their own vehicle. So really, there is no limit on how far a veteran can come to receive access to services here. The only determining factor is where they can get transportation. So anyone who can physically get here is welcome to come. And the MST bus routes and other forms of transportation are listed, and you can get information.
So tell me, what are some of the services you guys will be offering on those 2 days?
Yeah, so a couple of them that I mentioned are legal services. So also DMV services for anyone who doesn't have a driver's license that's eligible. ID cards, because, you know, if you're living on the street, there's a lot of things that you don't have, and the chances are you're not going to be carrying a folder of files around with you everywhere you go. So getting an ID or getting a driver's license are amazingly powerful things that a veteran in need can have access to that's really going to help them improve their life. There's also going to be employment services there, employment assistance, veterinary care for support animals, because we believe that it's very important to have, for a veteran or anyone in need, to have this support system around them. And sometimes that's a pet, and that's powerful to have, you know, a support system that doesn't judge you, that just loves you unconditionally. So we'll have veterinary services there, also health screenings and dental services, 3 free hot meals a day, access to clothing. So every veteran coming in to the stand down will have a event t-shirt so that they can remember their time. And they'll also be able to visit the clothing tent, which is pants and shoes and shorts and shirts and kids' clothes and women's clothes and men's clothes, so that they can really freshen up and feel good about themselves in that respect. Again, there is sleeping quarters with fresh linens and beds, and there'll be entertainment. So bands and musicians will be there, really, you know, sort of USO style, entertaining the troops. And a little bit of a regiment there too. There'll be, you know, taps and bugle calls and stuff throughout the day. So a little nod back to their military service.
So will they also have access to showers? And I heard
Absolutely.
even dental care?
Yes, that's correct. So there'll be porta showers there, and everyone will receive a hygiene pack and fresh linens and towels to really freshen up. There's going to be hair care services there. So come in and get a fresh haircut or get a shave or whatever it is that they need. The sleeping quarters will be sort of a communal style barracks with cots and blankets, and there'll be female quarters and there'll be male quarters and there'll be family quarters as well.
So where are you guys at in the services right now? You guys need volunteers, you need food. What do you guys need to make this event possible?
Yeah, so we're looking for about 1,500 volunteers over the course of 2.5 days. Volunteers in particular play a huge and critical role in the success of the stand down. VTC is only an organization of about 30 staff members, so we rely heavily on our community and volunteers in particular to really help us and to be able to execute access to these services for our veterans in need. So some of the categories for people to volunteer in are food services, so helping to serve the meals in the dining hall over those 2.5 days, and to clean up the dining hall in preparation for the next meal over Friday night to Sunday afternoon, the last weekend in September. Other volunteers are needed for setup and breakdown. It's at the fairgrounds, which is amazing this year because a lot of the structures are already standing, but we still need tents. We still need service tents for all of the providers. We still need the booths and the kiosk and the information tables and registration tables. So they'll be set up at the beginning of the several days of the week of the stand down leading up to the actual event, and then following the event, probably Sunday evening into the first part of Monday. We need general volunteers helping in clothing distribution, helping with trash pickup, helping with registration and information. So as veterans or volunteers or service providers are coming into the fairgrounds, someone there, a liaison, a concierge, letting them know, oh, well, you are a volunteer and you're going to be at this booth. Let me show you where it is. Or you're a veteran in need looking for legal services or the DMV booth. Let me show you where that is. And it'll be one-on-one assistance, showing them around the fairgrounds or just handing out maps or handing out information flyers. We need, like I mentioned, over 1,500 volunteers in every capacity. So we're looking for new unopened undergarments because that's really important. It's maybe something that a lot of people don't think about when they think about clothing for veterans. They don't think about those items that you don't see. Clean socks, underwear for men and women and children even, linens for when they're going to take the shower, wash rags and towels. We get lots of hygiene packs, thankfully, from the Red Cross, so we're very grateful for their contribution to this. But pants, particularly denim, shoes, closed-toed shoes like boots or sneaker shoes, something comfortable that can, for a lot of walking or walking long distances. Other things are, we're going to have a lot of volunteers helping with setup and teardown, and we want to be able to feed them and thank them for their contributions. So snacks and food items that we can provide to the volunteers on the Wednesday and the Thursday who are putting up tents and setting up tables and setting up chairs and hanging all the signs. For me personally, nothing motivates me more than food. So, and I know that a lot of volunteers in the past have said, I'm happy to donate my time. Can you feed our helpers, like the band, pro bono, they're coming and doing this amazing concert, and all they're asking for is, a meal. It doesn't have to be fancy. So we're looking for things similar to that. Clothing, like I mentioned before, is a huge, huge ask. Our clothing coordinator for the stand down, Robin Falkenberg, and she is collecting clothing here at the VTC the second and fourth of every Saturday here at VTC between 8 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. Up between now and stand down. So this year we're doing something particularly unique that the Monterey Stand Down hasn't done before. It's we're doing e-courts, and we're going to have video conferences with judges in their chambers, wherever their chambers may be, and private and independent consultations with the veterans who are in need of having their records looked at in those counties, outside of the judges and the legal representatives who will be physically here at the stand down. And it's a wonderful way to provide those legal services to veterans who aren't from Monterey County but are still in need, that can't get to the courthouse or can't get legal services where they are. So that's very exciting to have the e-courts here. We're also going to have lots of legal assistance and legal services here in person to be able to assist with access to those records as well. And it takes a lot of tech assistance to be able to pull that off. And so we're very grateful for the organizations and the services and the internet providers, and we're going to be able to collaborate to be able to provide that. But what the legal services come down to is a veteran can get their non-criminal records expunged depending on what the violation is for, and move forward in other things like employment, which legal problems can really get in the way of successful employment. So this is a huge push for veterans in need to be able to get back on their feet, acclimate back into society by finding gainful employment, and legal services are able to help with that.
Thank you so much, Heather, for your time. We appreciate it. And everybody get online. They can go online and sign up for the stand down.
Yes. To volunteer for the stand down, we are encouraging everyone to visit our Facebook page at facebook.com VTC Monterey County, to click on our 2018 Homeless Veterans Stand Down event link, and the registration for volunteers are listed on that page.